Do you automatically say, I'm fine, even when you're not? Do you feel uncomfortable when someone asks how you're really doing? If that question already feels familiar, this video is for you. A lot of young people today live very quietly, not because they have nothing to say, but because they've learned that staying silent feels safer. From the outside, this silence often looks like strength. People call you mature, independent, or emotionally strong. But psychology sees something deeper. In many cases, silence isn't confidence, it's survival.
For many Gen Z, this habit starts early. You tried to talk about how you felt, but the response didn't feel safe. Maybe you were told you were overreacting. Maybe your emotions were brushed off with, "You'll be fine," or "It's not that serious." Sometimes no one got angry. They just didn't listen. When this happens again and again, your brain learns a simple rule. Talking doesn't help. Psychology calls this emotional invalidation. Over time, your mind stops expecting comfort. Silence begins to feel more reliable than disappointment. And this pattern follows you into your teenage years and early adulthood. When you feel overwhelmed, your first instinct isn't to reach out, it's to shut down. You tell yourself, "There's no point explaining," or "I'll just deal with it on my own." This doesn't mean you're weak. It usually means you learned how to survive alone for too long.
Another reason silence feels so natural is the fear of being a burden. You're very aware of other people's energy. You don't want to ruin the mood. You don't want to be labeled as negative, dramatic, or emotionally heavy. Maybe you've typed a long message to vent, stared at it for a few seconds, then deleted everything. You tell yourself your problems aren't important enough. Psychology calls this self-silencing, hiding your real feelings to protect relationships. Because of this, you often become the strong one. You listen, you support, you show up when others are struggling. But when it's your turn to need support, you disappear. You say, "I'm okay," so many times that it becomes automatic, even when it's not true. This isn't emotional strength. It's self-neglect that slowly drains you.
Many Gen Z were also forced to grow up faster than they should have. Pressure from school, family expectations, money problems, and constant comparison on social media make it feel like you always have to be strong. Independence wasn't a choice, it was a requirement. When help didn't feel available, you became your own support system. In psychology, this is called avoidant coping, dealing with stress by pulling inward instead of reaching outward. This kind of independence gives you control, but it also builds walls. Asking for help starts to feel awkward or even embarrassing. Vulnerability feels unfamiliar. So even when you're exhausted, your instinct is to isolate and organize your thoughts alone. You don't reach out, you go quiet. Sometimes, silence has nothing to do with trust and everything to do with confusion. You feel tired, empty, or emotionally overwhelmed, but you don't know how to explain it. When someone asks, "What's wrong?" your mind goes blank, not because you don't want to answer, but because you don't understand your own emotions yet. Psychology links this to difficulty identifying emotions. Without clear words, talking feels risky. Silence feels easier.
And then there's memory. If you ever opened up and were laughed at, judged, or betrayed, your brain remembers that pain. The brain's job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you safe, so it learns quickly. One bad experience is enough for your brain to decide that vulnerability equals danger. From that point on, silence becomes protection. Not healthy protection, but familiar protection. Here's something important to understand. Your brain isn't trying to make you distant, it's trying to keep you safe. Silence is your nervous system saying, "Don't get hurt again." That's why silence can feel comfortable, even when it hurts. If this video feels personal, hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. Your silence helped you survive moments when you weren't supported. It kept you functioning when life felt unstable. But surviving quietly is exhausting. Carrying everything alone for too long can make you feel numb, disconnected, and lonely, even when people are around.
Strength and survival are not the same thing. Strength knows when to rest. Survival stays alert all the time. And if you've been in survival mode for years, It makes sense that you're tired. You don't have to change overnight. You don't have to open up to everyone. Start smaller. One sentence is enough. Saying, "I'm not okay, but I don't know how to explain it yet," counts. Even admitting to yourself that this is heavy is a powerful step. Needing support doesn't make you weak. Having struggles doesn't make you a burden. And being strong for a long time doesn't mean you're not allowed to rest. Silence is loud. You just learned how to live with it. But you don't have to carry everything alone forever.